Today's video is a foundation review. I do get requests to do foundation reviews. I think I'll set the stage by telling you first what type of skin we are dealing with. I am 60, I think I'm 62 still. I haven't turned 63 yet. I'm 62. I have dry skin, very, very, very mild rosacea. I have a few age spots appearing on my face. I have some folds, I have some wrinkles, I have some crepiness, I have darkness around my eyes, I have green veins. If you've been watching me for a long time, this is no secret. However, if you started watching me in my 50s, I didn't have some of these things. I have them now. So I find that with age, and I think with age, our skin really does change. You know, we lose collagen, we lose elasticity. Some of us go from oily to dry. Some of us go from dry to oily. Some of us after menopause start having breakouts. So our foundation is always changing, and we're lucky if it doesn't. So when they come out with a few new ones that I see are very, very popular, I think I want to try them. So I thought I would go ahead and do a review on my 62-year-old dry skin that has mild rosacea and lots of folds, sagging, and wrinkles, my friends. So we are going to see how this foundation holds up. And the foundation that we are talking about today is from Charlotte Tilbury. And I will be honest, I do not have great luck with Charlotte Tilbury's foundations at all. But this one here is the Beautiful Skin Foundation. So let me tell you a little bit about this before we get into the nitty-gritty of the video. It comes in 30 shades. It's a 1-ounce size. It is $44. It is said to be a buildable, medium coverage, hydrating foundation for a beautiful, healthy looking glow. It's supposed to make your skin radiant. It's supposed to keep it hydrated, looking a little more plump and smooths and brightens. That's all here from the website. Everything that this foundation does, and also on the box. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a clip of me applying the foundation, talking about it. And then I'm going to go about my day. I have a couple of errands to run. I need to go to the hair store and get some new for a friend. And a couple of other things. I have to stop at Costco. How many of you absolutely love Costco? I love Costco. And the temperature outside, we are back in the 80s, so it is warm again. So that's a great time for me to try foundations because I know a lot of people still have warm weather. Now, if you're in cold weather, it may play a little bit different on your skin as far as longevity, not soaking in, not dragging on the skin, because humidity, it is not a foundation's friend, my friends. Okay, so let's get started. I wanted to first tell you that on this side of my face, I'm wearing my sunscreen. It is the Suntegrity Impeccable Skin SPF 30. I only put it on half of my face so we can see how it plays with sunscreen and without. On this side of my face, I used my primer that I use with every single foundation I use, and that is the Colleen Rothschild Black Tourmaline Face Primer. Did not put any on this side. I want to see how it plays with just sunscreen because not everybody wears a primer. And then I wanted to see how it plays with just a primer, no sunscreen. All right, so we are going to get started and see if it radiates my skin, hydrates my skin, plumps my skin, brightens my skin, because the box has a whole lot of promises on it. All right, let's start out with the tube. I love a tube. I love a pump. It just keeps everything nice and clean for me, so I can already say that this is a win-win for me. For color, I am wearing 5 neutral. With Charlotte Tilbury foundations, I have a really hard time finding a perfect match for me. This one may be a tad too light, so I'm going to put it on my little glass block so that you can see the texture. We'll start out with 2 pumps. I may not use a full 2 pumps, but I want you to be able to see the consistency of this foundation. Not too runny, not too thick. The color does look pretty good for me. So let's go ahead and tap a little bit on my cheeks. I'm going to start out with a very small amount because I want to see if we can build it up. So I'll just put a little tiny dab here, and then a tiny dab there and there. Now for this side, I'm going to use my preferred application, which is a sponge. This is the Colleen Rothschild sponge. I don't know if these are still available or out of stock. It's a beautiful sponge. If you can't get this one, the Sonia Kashuk from Target is fabulous. All right, so I'm going to take my handy dandy zoom mirror, and I'm not going to add any more to the sponge just so we can see. And I'll just start dabbing, because this is how I apply foundation. I really believe you should be comfortable with the foundation that you choose, and you should be able to apply it and use the tools that you normally use. So I'm going to stay on just half of my face with this. This is giving a very light coverage right now. But again, I'm going to build it up. I just want you to see how it looks with a very small amount. And I'll go ahead and take some from the nose. I may have to add a little bit more. And go up to the center. It gives a very, very sheer coverage. I do have some age spots right along here. Those are new, but it's not covering those at all. Now for my comfort level, I prefer to cover those up. So we will go in with another layer. So now for this side, I'm going to go in with my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush. This is one of my most favorite foundation brushes. And I pretty much use a brush the same way I use a sponge. And I don't think that one is actually better than the other. I think it's your preferred method, whatever you feel gives you the best finish. And some foundations you may need to change your applicator. I have had people ask me, does a sponge remove your sunscreen? If you really think about that, no, it does not. Because watch, I'm doing the same thing. I'm taking a brush now and I am pouncing all around my cheek just the same way I did with the sponge. Now, if you're someone who drags your brush or your sponge, you could be moving things around. So just remember, pounce instead of drag, and then you don't disturb anything. I need to add just a little bit more for the brush, and we'll just start pouncing the same way I apply with the sponge. I don't feel that my application is any different from the sponge over the brush. So either gives the exact same application as far as I'm concerned. All right, so now I'm going to go in and I'm going to take a little bit more and I'm going to build it up. So I'll take a much bigger dab. My forehead. So now I'm going for at least medium coverage. So I'm going to take my sponge and just start in with it, because I really want to try to cover my age spots and my green veins on the side of my eyes. I think I'm going to go right up underneath my eyes and not use, well, maybe I will use a concealer. It actually didn't do too bad a job covering it up. Okay, so okay, so this is 2 layers. I do think it gives a really nice finish. Right now it has a nice radiant glow. It's not really covering up my age spots over here, and it has not covered up the veining around my eyes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, let's take another pump. For those of you who prefer a little more full coverage, I think if I were to wear this out sheer, it would wear really well on my skin. And medium, I think it would do okay as well. Now I'm just going to really focus on the age spots here. So I'll take my sponge and I'm just going to dab over those instead of adding more everywhere else. And that seems to do it. I have one more right here. So let's go ahead and just dab that out. Let's put a little bit on the sides here and see if I can cover up those veins. Yeah, they're doing a better job. So the third layer really does that. There's a little bit of red breakthrough here. My rosacea has been acting up a little bit. I don't have a bad case of it, but it seems to be worsening with age. Fun, wow. All right, so there is a third layer over areas that needed it. It did a pretty good job at covering those up, so I'll go ahead and do the same thing on this side. And I'll use the brush. Get that redness out. Go right up beside my eye here. And that's what it looks like. Okay, so there is 3 layers of it. It is really, it's camouflaging the age spots. I'm going to do just a dot above my eye. I'm going to use my fingers for this just to see how it blends with the warmth of my fingers. And I'll use this as my base. So it does a pretty good job at camouflaging my veins and the blue or the purple. I have like purple red eyelids. So it does a pretty good job at covering that with my finger, and it blends well with the finger. So if you're somebody who applies your makeup with your finger, the warmth of the finger does blend this down well. Okay, so there's the difference between my eyes. Okay, so there's still some foundation left on the block. I did not use all of it. I do think that it is camouflaged. It's giving a very nice glow to the skin. Okay, so that is it for the foundation application. I really don't see any difference between the sponge or the brush, so either is fine. It did apply nicely with my finger to my eyelids. I don't see any pilling or rolling from the sunscreen or the primer. So we'll have to see how it wears on both sides, which I'm going to do some pictures and do some check-ins and all the stuff you guys like, all right? And I'm going to go and finish my makeup and I'll be back. Before I head out on my errands, I wanted to touch base how it feels on my skin right now. I started to apply this at about 10 to 9. It's now 10 o'clock. I went downstairs, I did my hair, I got dressed. I haven't really been outside, so I can't really say how it's playing outside yet. But right now, it is feeling weightless on my skin. It's very, very comfortable. I don't feel that waxiness. I don't feel like, I feel a little greasy. Nothing like that. It is sitting well right now. All right. So with that being said, it's feeling really good right now. Been on the skin for about an hour. I'm going to head out the door and maybe I'll buy you a treat while I'm out. Okay? All right. I'll see you in a little bit. It's been 4.5 hours since I have had the Charlotte Tilbury foundation on my face, so I'm going to do a little check-in for you. So let me take a look at my face. Okay, so it's wearing really well along the jawline. It's not wearing out. It's not gathering in the little wrinkle I have here. It's a little bit, there is a little bit of tackiness on my nose. If anything is going to produce oil on my face, it's going to be my T-zone, and it's going to be in a very small, minimal amount because I have such dry skin. But the glow that's coming from the nose actually is not excessive, but you can feel a difference from the nose area to the cheek area and the forehead area. All right, so let's talk about my folds. It's really not gathering, my friends. I'm going to try to get photos so that you can see. It's really not gathering at all. My lip lines really aren't accentuated. It is what it is. This area here is a problem area for me. It's really not gathering in any of those areas. My forehead wrinkles, there's a little bit, but these are not too bad. I hope that shows up really well for you. I am going to take some pictures and inserts, so if that video clip does not really show anything, I'll insert pictures that hopefully will. And I also wanted to say this one thing, because this is a problem for me from time to time, no matter what range price range I use with foundations. A lot of them will oxidize. This one has not oxidized. It has stayed true to color. My first check-in. I don't suspect that it's going to get much worse, but I will give you another check-in in about 2 hours. And if it gets really bad, I'll come back earlier, okay? But I think it's not even wearing off in areas. And underneath my eyes, I did put it underneath my eyes, and I used a little bit of the setting powder that I always use underneath my eyes. And I wanted to share this brush with you. This brush is from FitGlow Beauty. I use this to apply the powder underneath because it's got a really neat shape to it. So I just go up underneath the eye and it fits right up underneath the lashes, and it just lays down the powder perfectly. It just has a slight little curve to it, and it really does apply nicely. So I have been using this. I think it's their concealer brush, but I've been using it to apply my powder. And the powder I use underneath my eyes is the Laura Mercier. And I did go in and set my cheek area with the Charlotte Tilbury powder, which I use all the time. And I also wanted to mention that there is absolutely no difference in wear from side to side. This side was the primer, and this side is with my sunscreen. No difference at all. It's not even accentuating my pores that much, okay? All right, friends, so I am back. This is going to be my final check-in. It is at 7.5 hours. I wanted to do this before I go down and start dinner because anything can happen during dinner. I have been outside with the girls, played with them a little bit, so I was out in the sun. I wanted to do the phone test because so many people love that, so I'll go ahead and put it on my cheek. However, I don't put too much into this, because anything that is moist or has an emollient to it is going to transfer in some way. So let's see how we do. There is a little bit, let's do this. Okay, there is, let's see. That is all from the foundation. Okay, so there is a little transfer, my friends. I also put my glasses on because I wanted to see, for those of us who wear glasses most of the time, I do not wear my contacts all the time. I get a little nauseous with contacts, and I already have vertigo, so I don't need any of that going on. So I went ahead and I put my glasses on so that I could see how it wears around the glasses mark. Because some people do wear readers. They put them on, they leave them on for an hour, they might be at their desk doing something, and then they take them off and they want to see how it plays along the frame, okay? My frames do not lay on my face, so I won't have a problem with that. I do notice that with some women, the frames lay right on their face, so of course their makeup then either collects around there or wears off. Mine do not do that. So let's go ahead and take a look at the face. It still feels good. I will say my face feels a little dry, a little bit, just a tiny bit. When you look at it, it still looks really good in all of these areas. It's still covering my age spots, and it hasn't worn off anywhere. It looks good on the chin until you get right here. It has started to gather just slightly, and it looks a little bit dry. Also, my lip lines, it has gathered slightly in the lip lines. That's not a no-go for me, because I always think, okay, nothing's going to work miracles. If it's a little bit in there, that's okay with me, because if you think of a crack in the road and the rain or a flood, it fills the crack in. So your face is really no different, but of course we don't want something that looks super cakey or really separates and travels into those lines. This is not doing that. My under eyes with my glasses, they do look a little bit dehydrated, but again, not a deal breaker for me. It has started to separate right here on my forehead. However, it has not separated anywhere else. It is not gathering in my eyebrows. It has gotten a little bit shiny. I'll take my glasses off now. It has gotten a little bit shiny in the nose and is still on the tacky side there, but not on the rest of the face. It really isn't. It feels weightless on the skin. Overall, it still has a decent look to it. It also does not have a fragrance to it. I don't smell anything. All right, so let's take a look. I gotta put my, it's hard for me to see, so I have to put my glasses on. Okay, let me look at my 10-time mirror for 1 second here. I'm gonna turn the light on, it's gonna get a little bright. Okay, it really didn't wear too bad. Now, I don't have pads on my glasses. My glasses just lay on my face. There's no pads. I know sometimes when you have pads, it will remove more of the foundation, but these, and they're very light glasses, so they have not really disturbed the foundation around my nose, okay? So overall, I think it held up nicely. There's a little bit of shine through here, but there's no breakdown on the nose. There's no real breakdown. There's a little bit of breakdown right here where it got a little bit on the oily side, just in the little creases, but nothing is gathered in there. And there's nothing in my little folds. Forehead looks good except for breaking away here. That's it. So I will say this is the first Charlotte Tilbury foundation that I can honestly say I like. It has held up well on my dry, mature skin. It doesn't look any different from the primer side to the sunscreen. It did not pill or roll with either one. It's a pretty good foundation. Now, I purposely have not watched any reviews on this. All I did was go to Charlotte Tilbury's site and did a little research on the foundation, so I knew what I was talking about, and that was pretty much it. I have not watched anyone else's review. I usually don't, because I don't like to be influenced or even have the idea in my head. And I know that because this is such a hot topic right now, the product, it's selling quickly. I know that it has been reviewed to death. So if you have mature dry skin, that is my opinion of it. Someone with mature oily skin and mature skin. What is mature skin? Mature skin is not 30, 40-year-old skin. 40-year-old skin is more mature than 30-year-old skin, but when you're 60, a whole lot happens after menopause. So in my book, mature skin is menopause skin, because my skin never changed until menopause. I was plump and juicy, my friends, until menopause. I've always been dry, but I honestly feel that one does not know what mature skin is until she has gone through menopause. Everything changes after menopause. So that is mine. Remember, I'm 62 with dry skin. There may be many reviews on there from 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds that have different skin type than me. So you may find their review to be very different from mine. But I will say, not bad, Charlotte. Not bad. There are some foundations that I recently purchased that I'm going to review. You let me know in the comments which one you would like to see first, and majority wins. I also repurchased my Dior Forever Glow, which I have used for a couple of years now, and I have repurchased a few bottles. But this time I repurchased a different color because I could not find the color that I originally wore. And it also says new on the page when you're buying it, and it seems that they've tweaked it to be a little bit cleaner and longer lasting. So if you would like me to review the Forever Glow, the tweaked formula, I will do that. Or the #1 de Chanel. This is very expensive. I can't believe I bought it because, first of all, you know, I don't have a lot of Chanel because I'm not cray-cray about it, okay? So I do have the Westman Atelier that I talked about in a Nordstrom collaboration. I've worn it a couple times now, so if you want to see this one first, just say Westman Atelier. You can just go WA. And the other would be Chanel, and then the Dior Forever Glow. So just let me know what you would like to see next. Even if you have some new drugstore foundations that you would like to have me try, let me know and I'll get on that, because I did buy the L'Oreal Serum foundation. It's been sitting there. I haven't tried it yet, so if you'd like to see that in a review, let me know and I'll get her done for you. All right, my friends, so that is it. I hope you all have a great night, great morning, great afternoon, whatever time you're watching me. I hope it's a lovely time. I really do. And all right, any video ideas that you have, put them below. All right, my friends, that's it for today. I'm going to let you go, but before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would love to have you as an ageless beauty, and hit the bell right next to it that lets you know of all the crazy videos that I'm putting up. Until the next time, my friends, you go out in the world and you be oh so beautiful. I love you all. BISOUS. Little segment is in sunlight. And look at my little Lula. Oh, there's my baby. She's such a cutie. She always has her eye on me. Always. Okay, back to the foundation. I do think it's still wearing really well. And the temperature today is 78 degrees. Humidity's not too bad, but it is still warm out today. So I just wanted to give you a look at this foundation in the sunlight. Ignore my gray roots, my friends. You know, I'm so undecided about what to do, but let's not have that conversation again. Okay.